So the creator of the best indie horror game we have been blessed with since Garten of Banban, no, just kidding, since Phasmophobia, has hinted at their next update to the game. Lethal Company version 50 is coming very soon, and as stated by Zeekers, he wants it to feel like he broke into an alien zoo and released all the animals. This next update is going to be insane, and I can't wait to see what he has in store for us. So I'm just going to share with you guys what I think is likely to get added to the game, by looking at what you, the community, have suggested, whether through mods or concept art. And no, Freddy Bracken is not on the list. Before we get into it, I would really appreciate it if you click that like and subscribe button. It would help the channel out a lot, and help tell the mystical YouTube algorithm this video is worth sharing with the Lethal Company community. Okay, so first up, let's talk about the new creatures that could be added to the game. If we were to look at existing creatures in the game, I bet Zeekers would want to add another creature referencing the SCP universe, as he already has done so by implementing the Callhead, which shares similar mechanics to SCP-173, and the Mask, which closely resembles SCP-035. The SCP Foundation, for those of you who don't know, is a fictional secret organization entrusted by governments around the world to capture and contain various unexplained paranormal phenomena that defy the known laws of nature, referred to as anomalies, SCP objects, and SCPs, which stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. They contain living beings and creatures, artifacts and objects, locations and places, abstract concepts, and incomprehensible entities, which display supernatural abilities or other extremely unusual properties. It's a universe that I really love and would be delighted to see more content in Lethal Company referencing it. Modders have already implemented SCP content such as SCP-096, also known as the Shy Guy, which screams horrifyingly if you even glance at it, and will stop at nothing to gouge your eyes out and tear you to shreds once you do. A creature like this would ruin your day of scrap hunting, as you'll have a time limit to how long you can survive, similar to the Ghost Girls mechanics. Modders have actually taken it a step further by adding the whole SCP Secret Lab game map as a moon and near interior, which just demonstrates the potential for some of the moons we could get in future updates. But let's talk about that later. So, looking at existing mods, there is one creature that's been added to the game which I really like. It's called the Mimic. This creature is famously known in the Dark Souls franchise as what appears to be a normal chest. Upon attempting to loot the chest, large sharp teeth are revealed to you, and two arms pull you in, eating you whole. Modder X753 has added this to Lethal Company, but for fire exits. There's almost no way to tell a fake fire exit from a real fire exit, and if you choose to go open a fake fire exit, well, please. Oh fuck. There's one way to tell, however, which cleverly gives an item more purpose in the game. If you have a shovel or any swingable object, you can hit the fire exit to see if it's real. If it's a mimic, it will make a chilling roar. By adding fake fire exits to the game, it helps add another sense of paranoia and claustrophobia, as you can no longer reliably wander aimlessly hoping for an easy fire exit out. Now, looking at the community suggestions, there are some amazing ideas with supporting concept art. Here are some of my favorites. First up we have the Hugger, suggested by Reddit user IHoHoJoe. The Hugger is a friendly creature of unknown origin, but is oddly human in look and behaviour. It has a desire to hug other humanoid creatures, and upon sight of a player, it will rush towards them, attempting a hug. If you are looking at the Hugger when it brings you in for a snuggle, it will hold you for a few seconds and drop you. If you aren't looking at it, it will snatch you and bring you to a random location in the facility. I really like the idea of a creature that inconveniences you, but doesn't actually harm you. It would result in some very wholesome yet frustrating moments. I also feel that if you get hugged, you should be forced to drop all the items you're carrying. Next up we have the Hurlgeist. Suggested again by IHoHoJoe, the Hurlgeist is a hostile and extremely aggressive creature that searches the facility for prey while carrying objects. If you get spotted by it, it will let out a scream and launch an object it's carrying at you. This could either be fatal or only inflict minor damage, depending on the object thrown. Heavy objects would instantly kill you, while toys and hairbrushes would deal a small amount of damage. I quite like this, as encountering this creature is a gamble, similar to the hoarder bugs. You could get great loot from it, but at the risk of injury or even death. It would add more chaos to the game. Okay, so now we have the Mantis, suggested by Reddit user IForgotMyPasswordG. This hollowed-eyed insect with a pincer jaw is also known as the Hanning bug, and is a large predatory relative of the hoarding bug. They are known for waiting silently in hallways, impaling unlucky creatures that wander past them. They have been seen teaming up with hoarder bugs, protecting their cousins whilst looking opportunistically for any greedy prey, looking for scrap. Unlike the other creatures, the Mantis doesn't just hunt humans. It also has a taste for snarefleas and thumpers. Wow, so this would be the apex predator of Lethal Company, and it looks absolutely horrifying. I personally love that it's one of the few creatures that will proactively go after other monsters, similar to how dogs will attack mimics. If anything, it makes them even scarier. I imagine the community will likely attempt to cooperate with the mantis to kill thumpers. That's if they don't get targeted themselves. Now we have the Cray Survivor, suggested by J Dog Money C-Swag. The Cray Survivor is a former member of the company that was left behind by their team. The Survivor is now insane, and will attempt to steal scrap and equipment dropped by your crew and use it against you, such as zap guns and shovels. It will have the same speed and stamina as the player, but with slightly more health. This mob can follow players outside the facility, steal your scrap from your ship, and possibly even use your ship to leave the planet without you. I actually really love this idea, as if it has the ability to end your run by stealing your ship, it's a creature that you need to proactively deal with rather than just running away. I would love the design for this character to have a cracked helmet and be able to grunt and scream at you. This would further add to the paranoia of encountering crew members and actually wondering if they're real or a mimic. For the last of the creatures, we have skinwalkers and zombies. These creature designs are made by Antonio Polico. He doesn't state how these would work, so I will give my opinion on how their mechanics should work if they were added to the game. This first one shows a four-legged reptilian creature with the top half of a crew member in its mouth. I imagine this working similar to an anglerfish, that upon killing its first victim, similar to how snare fleas work as suggested by the creator, it then lures other players in by mimicking the voice lines of the victim. Once close enough, the creature drops the body and pounces at you, and you become the next lure. The Skinwalker voice aspect of this already exists as a mod, and it is absolutely terrifying not knowing if the thing talking to you is actually real. I had a moment in the game where I was lost, and I heard one of my friends teleport into the facility and talk. So I ran towards the sound, and it just happened to be a snare flea that then dropped on me and killed me. I think it adds so much paranoia and adds to the atmosphere of the game. Although I do appreciate there are some laws that may make this impossible, or perhaps a lot of players just wouldn't like it. The second one appears to be a different take of the same concept, but acts more as a puppet master, with its front four appendages moving your arms and legs, attempting to trick players into thinking the crew member is alive. The third concept is straight out of The Last of Us. It's the Cordyceps zombie. I would love for the mechanics of this creature to mimic the clicker, in that it can only hear you. Once it locks onto a sound, it would sprint at you with tremendous speed and attack you. Perhaps upon being hit, it would make you vulnerable to spores it releases, infecting you and turn you into one of them. So those are some of my favourite creature concepts I could find online. If you have any ideas, please post them in the comments and I can cover them in another video. So we can expect new and improved items in the next update, and the modding community has done a great job implementing this already. So here's a few of my favourites. First up we have Needy Cats, modded by Jordo. Oh, another kitty cat.
It's a cat. It's not uncle.
This is a living scrap item found inside the facility. These cats emit meows which make them findable and are usually worth a fair sum. The challenge to taking the cats is the risk of attracting eyeless dogs. Similar to how a clown horn aggravates nearby dogs, the cat will meow periodically. If a dog is near enough, it will be attracted to the cat, killing it and anyone near it. However, you can silence the cat by stroking it. The final hurdle would be being cruel enough to sell it to the company, and seeing that tentacle snatch the cat away from you forever. You monster. So, carrying all that scrap back and forth is bound to be bad for your back. So what if we had a tool that allows you to transport large amounts of scrap? Well, wheelbarrows would do just that. Modded by Malco, this item would be purchasable and would take both hands once placed, meaning you couldn't wheel it up or down ladders. It would be most useful for taking scrap back and forth outside the facility without imposing too much weight, allowing you to travel fast when moving heavy items. This would save you taking multiple trips and possibly speed up your run. Next up we have glow sticks. Glow sticks would help you navigate your way around the facilities, similar to placing torches when cave exploring in Minecraft, although maybe less scary. As would be way more beneficial than using the spray can, the downside of this tool is that it would attract monsters to the location. If you ever wanted to be a hacker, well now you can, with the hacking tool, modded by Marco. This tool allows you to unlock gates, disable turrets and mines from up close, rather than from the terminal. Although, it does take a little bit of math, so that 8-year-old kid screaming in your lobby might not be able to use it. So currently, the mod makes you do about 30 seconds of math to just turn off the hazards for around 5 seconds, which isn't a big payoff. So if this was actually implemented into the game, I would like the tool to permanently disable turrets and mines, to make it a bit more worth it. The next one is not an item but actually a quality of life improvement: reserve slots. Modded by Flip Mods, you'd be granted 2 extra slots for you to store your flashlight and walkie-talkie, without taking up valuable slots for your scrap. It also allows you to use these items without holding them in your hand, through keyboard shortcuts. For example, pressing F for flashlight and X to talk. I really like this as I now opt not to use the flashlights and walkies, as I prefer having the valuable space to grab loot. And I've become so accustomed to running through the dark hallways, I almost forgot how much the flashlight actually helps. Perhaps the slots could be granted upon purchasing a utility harness to balance out the benefit. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas for more items. There are tons I could have mentioned, such as rocket launchers.
Oh, you were there too.
Okay, so Zeekers has already stated he's looking to add more diversity to moons and interiors, and demonstrated this by implementing a new circular corridor in the last update to the game. I think the game desperately needs new moons and interiors to keep the gameplay fresh. The modding community has already addressed this by adding their suggestions. Here are a few of the best ones. So first we have Orion, a new moon modded by SF-DSAT. It resembles a barren wasteland of what used to be a city. At the focus is an abandoned church. The inside of the facility is riddled with mimics, making scrap retrieval hazardous. The outside environment is swarming with sandworms, giants, dogs, and masked individuals on patrol. Next up we have more interiors by Major and Skiz, which allows the player to enter a World War I military bunker. The interior is a dark maze of underground tunnels that are both cramped and expansive at the same time. If you didn't like thumpers before, wait till you're trapped in a lone tunnel with one. Oh, I'm dead. The mod also adds army style scrap, which is something I would like to see on more new moons. Scrap unique to the setting and the story of the moon or interior. Zeekers could also give each existing moon more story and unique setting to keep with the themed locations. This would make exploration less repetitive, as what you are collecting would change every time, based on the moon you are going to. Another new moon is Infernus, by Magic Wesley. This moon was previously used from the mining of crystals and other various materials. But due to the increase of volcanic activity, all sorts of insects infiltrated the facilities to seek refuge. Every employee within the building at this time was either devoured or cooked by the extreme heats. The aesthetic of the moon is outstanding, and every time I was running to the facility and back, I couldn't help but look up at the massive erupting volcano. Reminds me of that night I was banning your mum. The last moon I would love to be added is Ether, modded by Lethal Moon Team. A mid to hard level moon, once home to a flourishing civilization. Mysterious and unexplored, it's surrounded by towering, razor-sharp mountains that hide secrets of a forgotten era. This moon is so sophisticated, it has a secret vault that uncovers the truth behind the planet's abrupt disappearance. The moon is also scattered with controllable alarms to alert crew members in times of danger. Once inside, you are presented with a new entrance, which leads into the mansion that we recognize. This moon blew me away with its setting and drive for exploration. It gives the player less reason to just beeline to the facility and actually take the time to explore the moon. We weren't able to find the vault when playing, so perhaps there's valuable loot stored in there, which would actually make the payoff really worth it. So that's just a few of the many amazing suggestions the community has created for Lethal Company's next update. You can tell this game has so much love from its fanbase, myself included. Hopefully Zeekers keeps developing the game for some time, and maybe even hires a few people to expand it out faster, as I think it has so much untapped potential. With it outselling the new Call of Duty on Steam, which probably isn't that hard, I think it has a bright future. Once again, let me know your thoughts on what's getting added to the game in this new update, and I'll cover your suggestions in another video. Click that subscribe button to keep posted on Lethal Company updates and funny content. And I will see you on the moon, my fellow crewmates.